I want also to express my love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build.
And I know that my eldest will now demonstrate his tough credentials.
But I've always felt that we're, over-exploiting and damn.
The palace doors didn't simply close on Prince Harry. They were slammed shut with such force that the echo is still being felt worldwide. When Harry landed with his 2 children, presenting them as his ultimate bargaining tool, he believed he was moving pieces on a chessboard. But King Charles was playing an entirely different match. What followed exposed a truth so explosive about those children that the monarchy is determined to keep it hidden. This was never about family healing. This was about legitimacy. As regular viewers here know, we have built a community that often revisits royal family mysteries, especially when they strike at the foundations of bloodlines. And now, insiders say there's a revelation so damaging it could rattle the very pillars of Windsor. Before diving deeper into this royal earthquake that has left palace aides scrambling, make sure you hit subscribe, because what's about to unfold is why Charles would rather turn his back on his grandchildren forever than allow them access to the palace gates. By the end, you'll see why his decision wasn't just cold, it was vital to protect the monarchy's survival. Let's start with Harry's first astonishing demand, and it only escalates from there. He insisted on full royal security funded by British taxpayers for himself and his children. Yes, the same Harry who dragged the Home Office to court after being denied protection, the same Harry who lost that legal fight in dramatic fashion. Now, he wanted King Charles to personally cover the costs. Reports claim that Harry's last request shattered Prince William emotionally, leaving him in tears, while stunning royal watchers everywhere. The proposed bill could have reached millions annually. Consider the scale of what he was asking. Armed officers on duty 24/7, bulletproof vehicles, secure residences, and an entire protective team rivaling those assigned to working royals. All this for a man who gave up royal responsibilities and relocated to California. Conservative estimates put the annual cost at over £2 million, and this is for someone who publicly declared he wanted nothing further to do with royal duties. Recent reporting even suggests Harry might never be allowed near William's future royal household. But the part that shocked insiders most? Harry appeared genuinely offended when his demands were dismissed outright. Witnesses said he acted indignant, unable to grasp why the answer was a flat rejection. This is the same man who aired family secrets on international television, criticized the monarchy repeatedly, and then abandoned his obligations. Yet somehow, in his own reasoning, he believed he could simply return and expect the same privileges he had previously discarded. The arrogance stunned many inside the institution. The timing raised even more eyebrows. Harry was fully aware that his father is undergoing cancer treatment, a period when Charles is at his most vulnerable. And what did Harry do? He used that vulnerability as leverage, effectively implying, "Give me what I want, or you'll lose contact with your grandchildren." It was emotional manipulation masked as a security issue. And here's a detail Harry doesn't emphasize when making his case. Private security firms in the UK are not permitted to carry firearms. So his demands were not simply about ensuring safety, they were about asserting status. He wanted recognition and privileges identical to working royals, yet without shouldering the obligations that accompany them. The entitlement was breathtaking. Harry wanted all the benefits of royal life while continuing to live in California mansions, signing streaming contracts, and publishing revealing memoirs. But behind these security demands, something even more strategic was taking shape. Observers note that Harry's legal team has been quietly constructing a case centered around his children's safety. And here's the catch. Unless those children are acknowledged with official UK ties, his legal arguments crumble. Charles, insiders claim, recognized this instantly. He understood that yielding to Harry's requests would not only weaken his authority, but also validate years of criticism from his son. To give in would create a dangerous precedent. Instead, Charles cut off Harry's leverage before it could gain power. Legal analysts soon raised the bigger question. Why was Harry pushing so hard to bring the children onto British soil now? According to whispers from insiders, it wasn't about family bonding. It was about strengthening potential custody claims. If Harry and Meghan's marriage faced turbulence, Harry would need irrefutable proof that his children were tied to the United Kingdom, emotionally, physically, and most importantly, royally. And how better to establish that than parading Archie and Lilibet through Buckingham Palace with cameras recording their presence alongside the king? Such imagery could prove invaluable in any future custody hearing. He could argue, "My children are not just Americans, they are British royals with direct access to the monarchy." Family law experts note that international custody battles often hinge on where children have stronger connections. Insiders allege Harry has been methodically laying groundwork for months. His lawsuits, his public demands, his insistence on recognition. And Meghan's absence from his recent UK visits? Observers say that wasn't chance. She was missing from his court appearances, from charity events, and most notably, from this attempted palace entry. That absence was deliberate. While Harry bears the blows, Meghan remains untouchable in California, carefully shaping her independent narrative. Sources whisper that cracks are beginning to show between them. Harry is more isolated than ever, clinging to a royal past that has firmly rejected him. Meanwhile, Meghan's Hollywood projects are struggling to ignite, and their joint brand is losing momentum. When marriages strain, lawyers prepare. Insiders believe Harry knows his trump card in any custody dispute would be his royal heritage. But it only works if his children are officially recognized as British royals. Gaining entry to Buckingham Palace, capturing photos with Charles, and receiving acknowledgement would have been decisive evidence in any legal proceeding. The palace's refusal denied him that powerful tool. Charles's rejection wasn't just about protecting protocol. It was about eliminating Harry's legal ammunition before it could be used against the monarchy. Yet Harry still seemed stunned that his father had outmaneuvered him. He believed he could use his children as pawns without anyone noticing. Now let's turn to the figure who was conspicuously absent. Meghan Markle did not accompany Harry on this high-stakes visit. No statements, no supportive gestures, not even social media commentary. The silence was deafening. And if you think that silence was accidental, you underestimate Meghan's mastery of narrative control. She knows exactly when to step into the spotlight and when to disappear. During Harry's most visible failure in years, she positioned herself thousands of miles away, insulated from fallout. Insiders even claim she advised against the trip altogether, warning that Charles would never agree. When her prediction proved right, she gained the upper hand in their private dynamic, the partner who foresaw disaster. And her physical absence speaks volumes. Meghan hasn't set foot in Britain since September 2022. Over 2 years of skipping ceremonies, declining invitations, and refusing olive branches. The message is clear. She's finished with royal duties, finished with the UK, finished with play-in. G by palace rules. While Harry was being rejected at royal gates, Meghan was cultivating her own projects and Hollywood ties, shaping her image as an entrepreneur who broke free of a restrictive system. Every day, Harry spends fighting for relevance within the monarchy. Meghan spends showing she doesn't need it. For Harry, the optics are brutal. He appears weak, desperate, and dependent on royal acknowledgement. Meghan, by contrast, appears strong, forward-looking, and beyond the drama. Some commentators even suggest this absence serves as her insurance policy. Should their marriage falter, she will stand as the independent partner who moved forward while Harry remained trapped in the past. But here's the strategic twist. Meghan's distance ensures Harry alone carries the weight of rejection. When the palace denies him, he takes the hit. When the press mocks, his name is in the headlines. She remains untouched, her reputation carefully managed. This comes at a price, though. Every public rejection Harry endures widens the gap between their paths. He is fighting for a world she has already written off, while she is preparing a future in which he may no longer fit. Charles's refusal wasn't simply a father turning his son away. It was a calculated move by a monarch who recognized the stakes. According to palace sources, Harry wasn't requesting a casual visit. He was pushing for a staged photo opportunity, placing his children inside royal spaces surrounded by symbolism. Charles knew those images could be weaponized forever. The deeper issue? The secrecy surrounding Archie and Lilibet's births. For years, speculation has swirled. Questions about hospital records, missing documentation, and unconventional announcements. By allowing those children into Buckingham Palace now, the monarchy risked reigniting every unresolved controversy. Neither child has participated in the traditional ritu. All's associated with royal birth or christening. Records remain vague or heavily redacted. Allowing them visible access would risk validating questions about legitimacy that the palace has carefully avoided. Charles, therefore, wasn't just blocking Harry's immediate demand. He was safeguarding the foundation of the royal succession itself. Any weakness in documented lineage could undermine the institution for generations. By saying no, Charles shielded both the crown and William's eventual reign. If Archie and Lilibet were formally recognized now, they would become permanent fixtures in the line of succession, carrying claims to resources and privileges. That would burden William's future reign with complex legal and political battles. Adding insult to injury, Harry chose to press these demands while his father was battling cancer, a moment of obvious vulnerability. Charles saw through the tactic, emotional blackmail disguised as reconciliation. His response was immediate and absolute, not just no, but an unequivocal rejection. This was more than a family disagreement. It was a statement that the monarchy will not bend to pressure, even when it involves grandchildren. The institution has survived centuries by putting its survival above personal ties, and Charles upheld that principle. Yet the most devastating reality for Harry is that the children may never gain the royal status he wants for them. If unresolved questions about their documentation ever surface, Harry's entire strategy collapses. Charles avoided being complicit in what could become a monumental scandal. And that brings us to the true victims of this saga, Archie and Lilibet. These children exist in an unusual limbo. They are technically in the line of succession, yet raised thousands of miles away with little to no connection to the traditions or responsibilities tied to their titles. Archie, fifth in line, has never spent Christmas at Sandringham. Lilibet, named in honor of Diana, has never meaningfully experienced the country that made that name iconic. They are royals in title, but American in upbringing. Speculation surrounding their early years only deepens the uncertainty. From delayed birth announcements to absent christening photos to official documents that appear incomplete, their entry into royal history has been shrouded in secrecy. For a monarchy that prides itself on ceremony and transparency, this silence is deeply unsettling. Charles himself has seen them only briefly since 2022 during carefully managed visits. That means his youngest grandchild has virtually no memory of him at all. Insiders suggest Charles may prefer to let them drift quietly into obscurity rather than confront the legitimacy questions directly. Removing them from succession would require parliamentary intervention and ignite public debate. Instead, Charles has chosen strategic neglect. No formal recognition, no official inclusion, no validation. Let them exist as distant relatives, not central royals. And perhaps Harry and Meghan prefer it that way. They enjoy the prestige of titles without obligations, the status without scrutiny. Their children become symbols in their American celebrity lives rather than functioning royals. Meanwhile, Charles watches his lineage recede into California, preserved only in curated photographs and media appearances. Harry's fall from grace makes this transformation even starker. Once beloved, once the people's prince, once seen as the rebel who brought warmth to the institution, he is now reduced to pleading for entry at locked gates. Every rejection underscores his irrelevance. The man who once drew global sympathy has become a punchline. But the harshest blow is the silence from within the family itself. William has offered no acknowledgement. Kate, none, either. Camilla continues without mention. Collectively, the institution has chosen to treat Harry as though he no longer exists. This isn't heated conflict. It is calculated erasure. The lesson is unmistakable. Royal forgiveness is not about words of apology. It is about proving loyalty to the institution. Harry's recent actions prove he still sees the monarchy as something to exploit, not protect. His demands were not those of a penitent son, but of a strategist still trying to use leverage. Charles and William recognized the play and ended it. By refusing to allow Harry's children official recognition, Charles has closed off Harry's last bargaining chip. No palace photographs, no official visits, no documented proof of their royal significance. Without that, Harry's legal strategies and future claims collapse. The monarchy has removed the oxygen from his campaign. In the end, Harry is left standing alone, a once central figure now sidelined, not with anger, but with indifference. The palace has made its choice clear: protect the crown, even if it means excluding a son. The irony is tragic. Harry wanted freedom, and now he has it completely. But it is a freedom stripped of relevance, a freedom in which the institution has moved on without him. And that, ultimately, is the final message. The monarchy endures because it places itself above personal ties, above sentiment, above even blood. Betrayal is neither forgiven nor forgotten. Harry miscalculated, believing family bonds would save him. Instead, the crown reminded him of a simple truth. In the royal game, the institution always wins.